Υπό τους ήχους των Sanctuary μπαίνουμε στο δεύτερο 30 λεπτό του σημερινού Tvwar, φίλες και φίλοι, κυρίες και κύριοι. Και πάμε τώρα να δούμε τι μας είπε ο Warrel Dane, ο Τιτάνας των Sanctuary, μία μέρα μετά την εμφάνιση του συγκροτήματος στο Gagarin 205. Απολαύστε. Εδώ λοιπόν στο Tvwar του Mad και του Metal Hammer, μερικές ώρες μετά την εμφάνιση, την θριαβευτική εμφάνιση των Sanctuary στο Gagarin 205, με πολύ μεγάλη χαρά υποδεχόμαστε στην ταπεινή μας εκπομπή τον κύριο Warrel Dane. Hey man, how are you doing?
Doing good. Got some good sleep last night after the gig and feeling very refreshed.
How can you still hit those high notes every night? What are you doing?
Well, I don't hit them perfectly all the time. Especially Battle Angels, you know, that one, that's the hardest one for me. That's kind of like my Queen of the Reich, yeah. I guess. But at least I still make an attempt to sing it. Todd Latour, oh my God, he does a great job on that song. But I guess Jeff Tate thinks nobody wants to hear that from him, so maybe he just can't sing it anymore.
He says he doesn't like metal anymore and he doesn't like that old stuff.
I read an interview where he said nobody wants to hear that song.
Sanctuary released this beautiful album last year, the year the sun died, and man, you said that this is a concept one, yes. But I don't get the story. Could you elaborate on this, please?
Well, it's more of a loose concept. I mean, kind of like Dreaming Neon Black, there definitely was a concept to that. And for me, I think this is kind of a sister record or a brother record to Dreaming Neon Black. I never said I would do another concept record because Dreaming Neon Black was so special for me because it was based on personal experience. But this one, it's about a prophet from the future. Her name's Lenore, and she predicts the end of the world, and she develops a cult following that follows her and does her bidding, and it's kind of depressing because at the end of the record, everybody dies. The son dies at the end.
So the protagonist is called Lenore. And I'm sure that's not a coincidence, since Lenore is the person in Poe's The Raven?
Well, that really wasn't intentional, but once I got into it, I realized, okay, people are going to say this. This is another Edgar Allan Poe thing. Maybe it is, and you know, I like to tie all of my lyrical concepts together at some point. With doesn't matter what band I'm in, I'm always weaving small elements of, you know, other things within. Poe is, you know, he's one of my literary heroes, or else. And then I have to bring Timothy Leary together with Poe to make a record called The Politics of Ecstasy, at P-O-E. Look at my fate and count the days. See, I feel and train the tragic. Torture reborn through hate and scorn. In arrogant ways and passive. Look at my face, stare in my eyes. Witness what never dies. Craving difference, my own.
Man, what was more difficult to you? Was it to launch Nevermore after Sanctuary, or to relaunch Sanctuary after Nevermore?
It was definitely more difficult to launch Nevermore after Sanctuary, for sure, because it took a few years, and you know, that was at the height of when, you know, grunge was becoming very, very popular, so it was hard for metal then, but it's not hard for metal now. I think everything's coming full circle, and there's a lot of good metal coming out right now. And it's definitely easier for, at least the older bands, it's easier, but for sometimes it's hard for the newer bands to break into the whole metal thing, but what do? You just have to work really fucking hard if you're a new band, for sure. And, you know, that's what I did in the beginning, and that's the best advice I could give to a young metal band is you got to work your goddamn fucking ass off if you think you're going to get anywhere, because it's not a free ride, man. You got to work for everything. You got to claw and scratch and grab everything you can to get any kind of recognition these days if you're a new band. I mean, and even at some level, that's the same for, you know, bands with experience. It's music in general, the business is rough. It's a rough business, and I'm not sure if I ever had kids that I would encourage them to go into the music field, but if it's in your blood, it's in your blood, and you can't really change that. So metal's in my blood. I'm never going to stop until I'm 6 feet under.
What's next for you as an artist? It's a solo album in the works, right?
Of course there is. I was approached by Century Media from the A&R guy to do an entire record of cover songs. And this guy told me, you're so good at taking cover songs, completely changing them, making them your own, reinterpreting them, and actually making them better. And he said, for instance, Sounds of Silence. For instance, the song on your solo record, the Sisters of Mercy cover, Lucretia, of course. And so I've been examining songs, and I'm maybe gonna focus a little bit more on, like, the Sisters thing was a total goth angle, and I've always been into goth music, and I've always been into metal, so why not just marry them and do a whole record? We'll see what happens. After that, there's going to be a whole new solo record of originals, and then the future's wide open, according to Tom Petty.
Okay, you know, this is Greece, so I have to ask you about Nevermore.
Yeah.
Is there any chance to see the band play together again?
Yeah. I'm not sure who would be participating, but I can pretty much confidently tell you that there's at least a 75% chance there's going to be another Nevermore record. But right now, this is my priority. So it's kind of hard to think about that. But yeah, I'm always thinking in the future and making plans, so it could happen. And I know that would make a lot of people happy. Because when Jeff and Van quit Nevermore, because let me make this clear, Nevermore did not break up. 2 people quit. And we were very torn about, Jim and I were very torn about, what do we do? What do we do about this? And we realized, okay, maybe we can replace these guys. Jeff is very hard to replace, although there are several guitar players that are interested in doing that can definitely play as well as he can. So it's kind of, I have mixed feelings about doing it to begin with, but it's probably going to happen. And I would love to get Jeff back to do it. We'll see. I don't know. He's pretty busy with Arch Enemy right now.
What about his decision to join Arch Enemy, to go there as a hired gun, not making his own music? He's so talented playing his own solos and his own riffing, and he's there doing, you know, just a job instead of doing original things.
Right. Well,
with Nevermore.
Maybe that's what he wants to do right now. I mean, I guess it's easier, a lot less pressure. All he's got to do is learn other people's music.
So, you know, to me, the line between Sanctuary and Nevermore is clear, and I can say what is Sanctuary and what is Nevermore. But lots of people, especially younger fans, believe that this could be a new Nevermore album?
Well, I'll tell you, and obviously, I think the reason that they associate this with Nevermore is because of my voice. Because Nevermore put out so many records over the years, and people just associate my voice with Nevermore. For me, the music on this new record sounds nothing like Nevermore. The vocals might sound a little like Nevermore, but that's what I've been doing for I don't know how many years. So, I mean, it's logical for me to understand that people are going to associate Nevermore with Sanctuary. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's kind of weird because when Nevermore started, we were getting the fans from Sanctuary years later. Now Sanctuary is getting the fans from Nevermore that sometimes don't even know who Sanctuary was in the beginning because they're too young.
So, Warrel, how is life in Seattle when music is not in the picture, or it is every day?
Oh, I'm always doing something musically every day. I can't just sit around and do nothing. I'm
doing anything else? You have a job or something?
My job is metal. I really want to open a new restaurant again because that was, one of the most fun, exciting experiences for me years ago, and that was during Nevermore. I think right around when Politics of Ecstasy came out for Nevermore. That's when we really started touring for a long time. And Jim and I were at that time we owned an Italian restaurant in Seattle, and we went on tour for so long, and we had a whole staff at the restaurant that we thought we could trust to take care of everything while we were gone. When we came home, we realized that they were all taking advantage of us, stealing liquor, stealing food. We looked at the bar costs and the food costs, and we were like, okay, what the fuck is going on? I went into the back room, did some inventory, and figured out there were 7 kegs of beer missing. Nobody could explain where they were. There were 72 bottles of hard liquor that were missing from the inventory. And I talked to all the employees, and they were like, we don't know. I'm like, bullshit, somebody fucking knows. That's when I realized I had to make a choice. It was either music or do the restaurant, because owning a restaurant and running a restaurant, I was the assistant manager, Jim was the kitchen manager, and we had a woman that was working with us that was the main manager of the place. She ended up fucking us over really hard. And Jim and I sat down and said, let's just sell it off. We have to get rid of it because this is a 24-hour-a-day, 7 days a week job if we're going to make this work. And I can't give up music. What do you think, Jim? He's like, let's sell it. Get rid of it. Fuck it. So that was painful, but, I still cook at home all the time.
So what's your favorite recipe?
My favorite recipe would be an Italian dish called puttanesca. It's spicy, and if you translate that, it means the prostitute sauce. And I was trained by a very, very great guy who immigrated from Naples during the 50s and opened a chain of restaurants called Vince's Italian Restaurants. And eventually he sold the last one to Jim and myself, and we started that because we were his favorite cooks. He taught me how to do everything. I have a great story about him. When he was teaching me, there's Jim going outside to smoke. He was teaching me how to toss pizza dough. It's not the easiest thing in the world. And as he was teaching me how to knead the dough and make it right so you can eventually throw it in the air and spin it, he told me pizza dough is like a woman's pussy. if you treat it gently, it will open for you. And I'll never forget that as long as I live. I have witnesses too that can verify this guy actually said that. But I mean, yeah, that was one of the greatest things ever, learning under someone that had so much experience.